Let me just check that whether our voice and everything is audible or not. Okay, so yeah, we are live. Just let's hold on for one more minute so that I can check whether my voice is perfectly audible or not. Okay. Okay. So hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. This is Amogh Saxena here, and we have successfully completed our backend till now. As of now, you can see that we have created our models, databases, controllers, routes, services, and everything. Okay. Now, what else is left here is we will be making little bit tweaks here inside our database, and then we will be performing a proper way to integrate database in our front end. We also have to make sure that how exactly our data is transferring from one file to another, and also we have to make sure that the files or the data which we have selected, like suppose for example in age page, in the weight page, and in the height page, in all these pages we are storing some other data, like age are we are storing weight, and we are also storing our height and everything. So that data is stored and then it is called out when we want it, right? So for that we also need to create various providers, like user provider, then authentication provider, and everything. So we will be working with that as well. Okay, first of all, in this code, let me first hit run here. I'll write npm start, and I think so that it should start running. Okay, let me see what exactly is happening. Through error and under error. Okay, where exactly are getting the error? We'll check that. Let me just give it a minute here. First of all, what we have done here is we have defined a very basic database. Okay, inside this database, we have written const connection, and the connection is called calling basically MongoDB right there. Okay, and after MongoDB, we have user models, then you have routes and everything. Let me check what it says. Okay, so port 3000 address listen. Okay, so basically what it's saying that the port that is present here is already in use. Okay, so what we will do, we will just go to our index.html, and inside that, sorry, index.js, and inside that we will just rename the port to be 8000. Okay, and as soon as we will name our post port to be 8000, you can see that yeah, it is now running perfectly fine. Okay, you can see that this is the code right here which is present, and it will be loaded soon after that. Okay, and talking about the code here, is the code is available right here. Okay, you can just go to our backend, and from there you will be able to receive all the codes. Okay, let me just, so inside that you will just go to my profile, and after that here in the repositories we have all the code uploaded. Okay, we have backend, we have the code as well that we were using. Okay, so all these codes and everything will be updated here. You can just go and download that from there. Okay, now apart from this, what we have here is we have it's saying what connection improves. Okay, what is saying here? Unknown map here, address localhost 271. Let's check what is that. Server is running on localhost 8000, error connecting to database, MongoDB error. Okay, so it's basically saying that we are getting issues in connecting to MongoDB. Okay, so let's go to our MongoDB. Okay, so for that, let me go to MongoDB here, and we'll open our MongoDB compass. Okay, and as soon as we will open our MongoDB compass, we are going to give it a basic string which is present right there. You can see the basic URI. Okay, so we are going to give that URI here, and after that URI we are going to just define our database name. Okay, that's it. So let me just paste it right here. Okay, so we have been given the link inside that. Okay, so it still says that it's crashed. So don't worry, let me check what we will do. We will add here a colon, and after that, yeah. Now you can see that now it's started, and yeah, it's going to take some time, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, and it's basically trying to connect to our MongoDB. And as soon as it will be connected, it's going to give us this thing that successfully connected to our database. Okay. So let me go into the connect, and inside the connect, we will see that what else we have. Okay. Now there are few changes that we also need to make sure to do this here. Type string, number, height, weight is also number, code is string, and the type is also string. Okay. So inside this user model, what we are going to do, we are going to implement the first thing that we are going to do. We will go to our very own controllers, and inside this controller, we have this JWT token key, right? So this token key, JWT secret token key is present, right? What you have to make sure that you give this inside the environment variables. Okay, right now you will see that what I have done inside this controller, I have written const token. Okay, and inside this token I'm basically just writing all these things, right? Generate token and all is not defined from my side. So what I have to do here is I have to make sure that this generate token is present. Okay, so this generate token is there, right? So what I'll do, I'll remove this line of code from here, this one. Okay, let me just remove it first. Okay, and what I'm gonna firstly write, I'm gonna write const JWT key. Okay, first thing I'm gonna write is JWT key, and inside this key, I'm gonna define basic key right now. Currently, I'm just gonna use A123 as my JWT key. Okay, and after that, then I'm gonna define what const token. Okay, so token equals to, inside this token, what we have, we will firstly write await, and after await, I have this user services that I have called there. So inside user services, we have generate token. Okay. Now inside generate token, we have what, we will take few things. That is, first of all, the thing that is we are going to take is token data. So let's firstly define the token data. Now, all of those people who are getting confused what we are doing, we are just going to create a JWT key that will ensure that user was present before or not. Okay, the user maybe has logged in before or not. So if the user has already created an account, we will be having sort of a token data here. Okay, and this token data will make sure that the user is there. Okay, so that's why we have written token data. And what I'll write, I have to define this token data is declared, but it's never used or read. Okay, so what I'll do inside this, the first thing that I'm going to pass is our token data, and after that we are going to give JWT key, and after that we are going to write 24 hours. That means what, this 24 hours denote that it will expire within 24 hours. Okay, now after that what I'm going to do is, when it's going to run, I'm going to write response.json. Okay, and inside this response.json we will write the status code. Okay, so that is success, user has been successfully logged in, and then you can return the token which you have there. Okay, that's it you can do. And the one more thing that I have to do, response.status, I have to check that the status is 200. Okay, so response.status.json. Okay, that's why it will be giving us the proper output when our user is successfully logged in. Okay, so this was the change that I wanted to implement in the controller. Now inside the user model also, we have to make sure that each and everything that we are calling is proper, right? So inside that, I'll first check that whether we have the user schema ready or not. Yeah, inside the user schema, we have password and everything. So we have defined a proper schema here. You can change it according to you, like string and number and integers, everything. Okay, so you have to change it according to yourself. Inside enum, you have different variables that you can input in it. Okay, so yeah. After that, what I'm gonna enter here is I'm gonna ask for required, and yeah, that's it. After that, we have also implemented our timestamp to be true. And then we are defining what? We are defining user schema.save. And whenever we will save, this will call what? This will call our function. which is going to convert our password into the hash. Okay, so it's firstly checking that whether the user password has been modified before or not. And when it is modified, then what we are going to try, we are going to try to add or generate a salt, and then we are going to hash the password with the salt. Okay, so it's gonna mix match and all, and then we will store that hash which we have generated inside the password. Okay, so till here everything is correct. And after that, what we have methods. So methods works fine for me. User schema. Okay, so yeah, just make sure that the words and everything are perfect. This is okay here. Okay, so after that user model, we have routes. So routes, there is nothing to be changed inside the routes. Just now the last thing that is left will be our services, and inside the services, there are few things that I have to check first. Okay, the first thing is that we are going to save this. Yeah, so this looks good. Then you are going to generate get user by email. This is going to fetch the user when we will be trying it. Okay, and after that we have generate token. So yeah, this generate token is also fine, and this is the last one. So after that, what we have our app.js. Inside the app.js, I'll make sure to call out two more things. So app.express, express is called, then user route is fine, then you have the body parser is also done. The second thing which is left is users. Okay, let me go to the index and let me check for it. So I'm gonna define like user.get. Okay, so inside this, whenever we want that user.get, we have to write user.get, and inside this get, I'm gonna define it as to be about. Okay, so let's enter about. This is the backend of the fitness application. Okay, so yeah, this is the about which we are going to send, and make sure that the server is running at HTTP localhost. Okay, it's previously it was written HTTPS, which was creating an error because sometimes you have to call out some dependencies to make sure that works. Okay, now if we will check this, now you can see that we are getting our data here. Okay, it's going to what server is running connection error connecting to the MongoDB server connect. Okay. We have to make sure why this error is causing us. Okay. Don't worry, this works fine here. I'll just make sure to remove this error from here. Okay, our API was supposed to work exactly fine. Let's go to database, and inside the database I have to make sure that yeah, it some error. Now what we are going to do, we are going to inspect our DB file. So inside this DB file, I'll go here and gonna check for it to when it's going to run or not. Okay, so on open, we should get this. So mongodb.create connection. Inside that we have MongoDB. Yeah, everything seems to work fine, right? Then why we are getting this error? DB configuration. Let me do one thing. Let me remove this localhost. Maybe this localhost is causing that issue, right? Instead of localhost, I'll add my enter 127.0.0. Okay, now it should work fine. Yeah. Now you can see it is saying that connected to database successfully, right? Maybe that was the main cause why we were getting that error. Yeah. Okay. So till now it works fine. It looks good. Now let's do one thing. Let's make sure that this error has been resolved. Okay, so for that, the first thing that I'll do is I'll try to run it through Postman. Okay, so let's go to our MongoDB compass, and inside our MongoDB compass, if we have created the application successfully, we will be able to see our fitness app GFG. Okay, so here you can see that we are successfully able to see our fitness app GFG. Now what we have to do, we have to make sure that this works. Okay, so for that, what I am going to do, I'm going to go to Postman. So let me open Postman for now. And inside the Postman, I'm gonna send this data. Okay. We were getting the error because of this reason, because we wrote here localhost. Okay. Sometimes that happens, and you can just try to reset it by just entering this 127.0.0.1. Okay, that can be the main error, because the code was perfectly fine, we were not having any issues in any of the file paths, so it should technically not give you any sort of errors. Okay, so yeah, we have to make sure. Let me go to index, and yeah, here we add a colon, then only we will be able to see our file. Yeah, now you can see that it works perfectly fine. Welcome to the backend of fitness application. Okay. And if you will even go to the about page here, and you will hit about, you can see this is the backend of fitness application. Okay. So yeah, things works fine. Pretty. Now what we will do, we will try to implement our data so that we can check that whether it's working or not. Okay. So for that, let's check that whether we have Postman here or not. We have Thunder client. Okay, so yeah, let's do one thing. Let's use Thunder client, and for that, what is a Thunder client? Thunder client is basically used to check whether the thing is working or not. Okay, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just take this link which we are having, and we are just going to paste this here. Okay, and I'm gonna send. Okay, so as soon as I'll send it here, you can see that you are getting the output that welcome to the backend of fitness application. And as soon as you write about and you hit run, you can see that welcome to the backend of fitness application. Okay, so this works fine. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to register. Okay, because we have created two endpoints here, right? If you have any issues, you can just go to the user model and you can check it. Okay, that inside model, what are things we have created. So we have created new schema, and inside the controller you have to log in and register. So just go for either one of them and you will be able to see it. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let me just go to the new request here, and in this register we have to make sure that we enter the data inside JSON format. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give two variables here, that is an email and password. Okay, you can just enter that here. Let me just type it out. I have already data. So yeah, let me do one thing. Let me just enter this one. Like email is 123, sorry, abc@gmail.com, and we have the password is password 123. Okay, and as soon as we will hit send, we have to make sure that it's post, not get. Okay, so we are basically sending the data, we are not fetching it. That's why we'll use post. So as soon as I'll enter this, check body send. Okay, so inside the send, what are the headers you are getting here? As of now, nothing. Okay, so let's try for login here as well. Cannot post login. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's use Postman. I guess this one is creating an error. So I'll just do one thing. I'll go to Postman here, and inside the Postman, I'm basically going to send the response from Postman. Okay, so let's post that from there. Okay, body header, inside body we have multiple files. I'm going to basically send that data from here, and it should take it. Okay, so yeah, and we will check for it that whether it's fetching here or not. Okay, so currently it's not taking the data. Let me do one thing. Let me insert a basic document here inside JSON format, just for a demo, and then we will inspect that why exactly it's not taking our data. Okay. I'm gonna paste basic values, what I have written abc@gmail.com, then password 123, then age, then we have given male, then weight is 70.5 kgs, height is 180, goal is lose weight, and activity is expert. Okay, and it's gonna send it. So yeah, now you can see that we are getting this password right. This why? Because we are in our backend we are using Node.js, and in this Node.js we even are using decrypt. Decrypt helps us to decrypt our data, and that's the main reason why we get our data in the form of this hash, right? This like $2b, $10, $3, CP, and all these things. But we have added the data directly. That's why we are only getting password 123. Okay. Now let me check what are the errors we are facing here. Console.log is fine. Then you have success and everything. Okay. Check for the errors here. And inside this, with gamers. Okay, OP, very good video. Thanks, bro. It really means a lot. Appreciate it. Okay. And yeah, sometimes when we are working with Node.js, the main problem is see, currently we are not getting any errors. You can see that it is even saying that server is running at 2000, 8000, and we have also connected to database. That means database is not creating any sort of issues. So just let's forget the database file. Now we will make sure this file is working or not. Okay. So you even have to make sure that what alphabets you're using. Like currently we're using a small u and we are using our very basic file. Okay. So let me do one thing. Let me make sure to use a same type of wording. So what I'll do, like there is no error inside our code, but when you are working, you have to make sure that you're using same set of things or same set of words for every line. Okay. That's why I'm making sure to use capital U and capital S everywhere wherever I can. Okay. So yeah, user model save, and inside that capital U and user schema. Okay. So this will ensure that our model file might not be having any errors. Okay. Now let me go to the controller part and let's check for the controller as well, that what are the errors we are facing in controllers. So inside the controller we have exports.register. Okay, this part is fine. Then you have decrypt, as I have used it or not. Okay, so what we have our users and everything. It const user. I am fetching the user services dot register user. Okay. Yeah, maybe that was the main error it was causing, because I was using capital U and small u. Now maybe it should start again. Okay, that was a very minor error, but yeah, what are the errors? Cannot post dash register. Yeah, still we have to make sure that why we are facing this error. We have returned jwt.sign in, and everything looks fine. Technically, our code should work fine. Let me just check why we are getting this error, because I have already created the same set of code here and that works fine. Like, I'll just show you that. Let me just hit run. Okay, so currently this is my code that is running, the one which I created before uh, shooting this video. Okay, so inside that you can see our code is working without any errors. Okay, and even the code is successfully connected to MongoDB as well. Like, yeah, if I will enter about, you will see that, yeah, this is the about page, and also tells that all the endpoints are working, everything. Like, that was just for testing purposes that I was using, right? And if I will try to send the data in our localhost, Okay, let's check that whether it's working or not. Okay, so let me firstly go register slash like that, and we will ask for get. Okay, let me just cut all of that from here, and if we will send, okay, we are supposed to get this. See, welcome to the backend of fitness application. Our code works. Then I'm just going to paste this, and then I'm gonna write register, register, and as soon as now I will hit post. At this particular time, I'm damn sure it's going to give us this error, right? Which it should technically not give us, because see, if I'll run the code which I created, which is exactly the same, you will be able to see that says user already exists, and yeah, it is even working. Like if I'll just go for login here, and if I'll remove all these credentials, and if I write send, you can see that user logged in, then you are even getting the tokens and everything, right? So there can be any mismatch in the code, that's why it's creating the error. Otherwise, the code is perfectly fine. And yeah, it should also work without any sort of errors. Okay. So let's go and let's also inspect once more. And yeah, if we does not find the, I will be finding it and I'll be mentioning it down below in the comments. Okay. Just let's try once more and we'll make sure that all the code works. Then we will be heading on to the provider part where we will be trying to store the data which we are fetching from these pages into the provider so that we can just directly call it when we are going to use our this file. Okay, so yeah, successful user has been successfully registered, then otherwise you have to catch an error, right? Yeah, this is the exports part. Inside exports we have const email, password, age, gender, height, weight, goal and activity, and yeah, all of that is going to be stored. Then you are going to check for duplicate users. Then after that, we have login. Yeah. So inside const login, we are even going to get user by mail, and we are even checking that whether the user exists or not. And yeah, so status code also we have given user does not exist and everything. So I don't know still why we are getting the same error again and again. Maybe because it is so. Let's even add the semicolon just to be sure from our side. Okay. Then yeah, register part is causing that error. So inside this register, we have even called out our user services as well, right? So let me check user services works. Yes, this also works. So let's go and check the models that whether it's any error in the models. Technically, it should not be any error in the models because see, in the MongoDB, when we are importing this, right, the model is perfectly working. Model is not at all creating any sort of error. That's why having any error inside the model is almost impossible, right? So yeah, but that for this reason also, let's just try to cancel it out and run it again. Okay, so yeah. User schema works, user schema dot pre-save, and also user schema dot methods, and yeah, user schema dot models dot import. The last one is services. Let's just once more check the services. And what are things it says here inside the services? Nothing. JWT works fine. Then what else we have? Sync register user, and after register we are even saving the user. This is the main thing which makes sure that the user data is getting uploaded there, right? User model is also called. Okay. Yeah. Now technically it should not give us any errors. I don't know why it's giving. Let me try this also, that we are going to terminate our database and then we'll again start it. Okay, so I'll just write node index.js. Okay. Why I've written index.js? Because I'm just directly trying to fetch this node and I'm Just trying to make sure that whether it's working or not. So yeah, and now it's working. You can see the database is successfully working. Rajesh Shah, hello. Hello brother, how it's going? Okay, so now it should not give us any errors. So I'm just gonna try this once more. I'll change the localhost 8000, okay, which is our current file, okay. Maybe routes can have this error, right? So let's just check that whether we have this register. So yeah, route inside the controller we have this register, and similarly we have login as well. Yeah, so now code looks fine. Let's try to run it, okay, and we'll check for the database. Let's hit run here. Inside this we'll hit login. And what are the errors we got? Yeah, we still got the same error. So yeah, let's leave it for now. I don't know why we are getting this error. Like I have to install npm or directly import your code from Git. So yeah, you have to install npm because in my code, maybe I have not added the npm node modules because you have to run all these things like, npm init and everything. Npm install, you have to even make sure. So yeah, you have to make sure that node is installed in your computer, and then only you can run my code. Okay. So yeah, see, our backend is working. Backend is perfectly working. Like welcome to the backend of this fitness app and all these parts. But the data is not fetching in. I don't know what's that, but yeah, we'll check it that. But currently, let me move on to the main part which we have here is we have to make sure that all the data which we are fetching or which we are sending to these pages, like from age page. In this age page, we have like selecting index, and inside the gender page, we are even selecting any gender, right? So we have to make sure that this data which we are selecting should be saved somewhere, okay? So that when we are going to create our very own sign in page, or when we are going to create our uh, page in which we will be storing our data, or in which we will be authenticating like sign in login, at that page all the code should be fetched, or the all the code should be available, okay. So that's why we have to make sure two things. The first one is yeah, so you can see our code is there, and after that we have get started. This is the mail. So yeah, when you are going to select this mail, or either you are going to select anything from this counter, what exactly are going to save, right? We have to make sure this thing gets saved. That's why what we are going to do, how to download npm. Okay, so inside that what you can do is you firstly have to make sure that you have code in your laptop, okay. So you can do one thing, you can either refer to my video. I'll just show you my video. Go to GFG development, and in that we have this full playlist, right, which we are using clearly. Let me show you that playlist here. Okay, so inside this playlist we have our videos. Yeah, I think so. Now you can see it. So this is the Flutter Project Series. Okay, inside this playlist we have all the things that I have completed. So in this you will see that this fifth video, Node.js Essentials, Backend Development. In that I have even teached you how to install Node.js and how to use Node.js. So just make sure to check this video, and then you can download the code and it will be working perfectly fine. Okay, so I hope that clears your doubt. Now let me do one thing. Let me just show you that what all things we are going to keep. So yeah, I want to make sure this data is perfectly saving. So for saving this data, what I need is, let me first close these backend files here. What I exactly need is I want to make sure that this file gets stored inside providers. Okay. Now, if you will ask what is provider, so let me show you provider inside the Flutter. So in this Flutter, we have, if you will go to pub.dev, you have this provider here. Okay. Now, what is this? This is simplified allocation and disposal of resources. Okay. it will be storing your basic resources into it, and you will be able to get these resources when you will call out these providers. Okay, so that is what we are going to use today. We are going to make sure that this thing is there in it. Okay, let me go to the code which we have here. Okay, and inside the code we have to make sure that we create one file. Okay, so for creating that file, let me redirect you to a folder. Inside that we have models right here. Okay, so this models we have created, right? So inside this models, let me firstly go to this folder, and here I'm gonna create provider. Okay, so let me just create a provider here, and inside this I'm gonna create a file. So what I'll name the file is, I'm gonna name the file as user underscore provider. Okay, dot dot. So we have created a basic file which is user provider dot dot, but also we have to make sure that we import that dependency here as well. Okay, so inside that we have to go to pubspec.yaml, and inside this pubspec.yaml we are going to add our provider. Okay, and inside this provider, which particular version we are going to store? We are going to store 6.1.1. You will get this version in this link. Okay, so here you just have to go here and just copy it, and yeah, it will be good to go. Okay, so we have to make sure that this provider gets installed. So you just have to make sure to save the file, and now this provider has been successfully installed in our application. Okay, so inside the provider, what I'll do, I'll go and I'll write a basic code, that is import package, and inside the package I'm going to write material dot dart. Okay, so inside this I'll write import package material dot dart, and right after this I'm going to write class, and inside the class I'm going to write user provider. Okay, and what this user provider will be having, this user provider will extend into what, change notifier. Okay, so what this will do, this will make sure that we have a, okay, is a class that produces change notifications to its listeners. Okay, basically whenever you will change the notification, or whenever you will change this, right, this like selection is obviously you're going to change it again and again, because yeah, this is somewhere here, then someone will change this. So yeah, it will be informing all of that inside our users. Okay, now which page we have first? The first page which we have is our very own mail page, right? So what we are going to do, we are going to store bool inside what? We are going to store bool as is mail. Okay, so what we are going to write, the default value will be true. Okay, and similarly what you have our int age. Okay, so we have int age equals to 0. This is the default value that we are going to store in it. Okay, or else you can just do one thing, you can just keep it like this. Okay, yeah, so it's non-nullable. You have to make sure that this is there. Now after that, currently I have just created 2 pages. Now what I'm going to do after this, I'm going to write void. Okay, now inside the void I'm going to write set, or what you can call it, you can call it set gender. Okay, so inside the set gender I'm going to give it bool, and then I'm going to write is male. Or else you can just do one thing, you can either write it to be, instead of writing it to be boolean, you can just write it to string. Okay, then inside the string you will leave it as empty. Okay, or you can just define an empty string here, just so that make sure you are not getting an error. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll change this boolean to be string, because obviously people will enter this app live. Okay, so let me do one thing, you go to my GitHub. Okay, and if you want to make sure to stick with whatever currently I am doing, or the currently which is going in the class, you can download this one. Let me just show you. you can download this one, this live one. So fitness app live. Okay, you can go and you can download this. And what you have, these demo and this backend is the secondary code. Okay, the code which I was working in, the code which I have created previously. So that is that code. If you want that this code, you can download. But yeah, this is constantly updating because I'm still working on this application, right? So I'll be modifying some code, or I'll be making sure some changes. So yeah, it's gonna keep on updating multiple times. So I'll prefer to download this fitness app live. This is the same code that I am currently teaching right now. Okay, you can see that, yeah, this is the last we have done. So you can take this one. So inside the string, what I'm gonna define in the string, I'm gonna write gender here. Okay, so I'm gonna write underscore gender, and inside this we have inside this we are going to define that is what underscore gender equals to. Okay, inside that underscore general equals to gender. Okay, so the gender which we will be calling out. Okay, so for that, what we have to do, we have to make sure that we call it, right? So what I'll do, define it. I mean, we define it. So I'm gonna write set. We will be defining set string get, sorry, string get equals to uh gender, string get gender. Make sure to write the same way you have defined it. Okay, equals to, you have to define it. Starts at uh, uh, okay. So that is what we are going to write it. It's throwing us an error. String get gender equals to what? Let me do it like this. Yeah. Now it's not going to give that error. So what we have done, we have written string get gender. We are going to get the gender data from the page which we have created up there, and then we are going to store that data inside this gender string which we have created right here. Okay, same thing we will copy for our age as well. Okay, so I'll just write here age, so set age, and inside that I'm going to define our age. So age in age here as well, and similarly age. Okay, now this age needs to be defined, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to just define it right here. And yeah, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to write age. So now you can see that, yeah, it works fine, but this is an integer. So I'm going to store this in an int. And here also I'll change this to be int. Okay. So now you can see that we have currently changed it to integer, and yeah, it looks fine. Okay. So this is what the basic changes we have to make sure to be there inside our file. Now what we have to do, we have to go to the proper page. Okay, so where we have this age page, right? So inside this age page, what we are going to do, we are going to go here, age screen, and inside this age screen, we will firstly make sure that we have this loop called. Okay, so loop is perfectly called out, and you can even, make changes into it. Like what you can do, you can go to this list wheel scroll view, and whenever it's getting tab, or whenever it's getting uh, on tab on it, you can just print it out so that you will be understanding from where the data is going. Data print हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा, error आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा, and everything. तो debug कर सकते हो according to you, अगर समझ में नहीं आता, कभी फंस रहे हो. What you can do, you can just hit on debug here, and you can just try to make sure कि वो चल रहा है कि नहीं. Okay, so what you can do, like for example, I'll write here a basic line that is on select item change. Okay, so inside that, what you can write, on select item change, you will be printing the index. What is the index? Index is the particular uh, ID where this it's printing, like from this list, right? This is the last session of fitness app. No, bro, there are more than 3 to 4 sessions left because we have a lot of designs to be created, right? अभी तक तो सिर्फ बेसिक बनाया है, राइट? बेसिक भी क्या, एंट्री पेजेस बनाए हैं, उसके अंदर अभी होम पेज और प्रोफाइल बनना बाकी है. So what I did was I created the UI here, right? See, this is the link, right? In this we have created all these pages. ये लॉगिन सेक्शन तो अगले वीडियो में पूरा ही हो जाएगा ऑथेंटिकेशन से लेके, राइट? So what we have done till now, we have created these pages and we have also created the backend for all the basic requirements of the application. Okay, and what we will do once our data is stored. So what I'm trying to do, I'm going to fetch this data, this gender data, then age data, then apna height data, weight, and everything. And I'm gonna call out all this data right here. Exactly this where we are going to sign in right here. I'm gonna call this data so that all the data can be stored inside single database, right? So I'm just trying to make sure this yeah, you can take this link. So this link is already uploaded in I have posted the same link inside the comments of the previous lecture. You can get the link from there, create your own, and you can just comment it out. If the link will be good, I'll be making sure that this link will be used in the project. Okay, so you can modify the link. I guess पिछली वीडियो के comments में मैंने डाल दी थी. Okay. तो आई होप इतना समझ में आ गया है. हम लोग चाह रहे हैं कि सारा डेटा फेच होके इधर आ जाए so that we can just take this data when we are going to log in. Okay. So let's continue with that for now, and let me go back, and in that you can see what I have written. I have written print index. Okay, and let me just restart the app, so just to show you that whether it's working or not. Okay, so yeah, now you can see that, as soon as I'm running, see 51, 52, 51, 53, 54, as like that, I'm just selecting and it's printing. So by this you can understand that okay, by this you can understand that this link is fetching out the data, right? See, here also you can select. Okay, so the count is also getting fetched. Like, yeah, so you can see this 99, 98, height is 168, something, right? So you can see that the data is properly calling out, and same thing will happen here. Here we have created, this is what this is our file, right? So what it is happening here, it has created this index. So index 1, index 2, index 3, like that it is happening, right? So yeah, you can see that you can debug the code like that, which will make sure you enhance your understanding how exactly things are going from here to there. Okay, so let me just firstly give the Figma link, because the video series inside the live itself, and in the comments, yeah, I hope you will get the link. Maybe that link will not work. Please define in Hindi. अच्छा, कहाँ समझ नहीं आया? Just let me know and मैं समझा दूंगा. Because actually this whole series was in English, इसीलिए I was teaching in English. मैं हिंदी में इसलिए नहीं पढ़ा रहा था. तो अगर चाहिए है तो I'll make sure कि आ जाती. Did you get the link? लिंक मिली होगी तो ठीक है. मैंने वैसे कॉपी पेस्ट तो कर दिए. Right? Didn't get it. I'll do what previous video के comments में I'll post it. See, it's not running. Okay, I'll make sure to check this out and I'll do it. Okay, so see, this is the comment that I have posted. You can go and check that from here. Okay, वहाँ से मिल जाएगी. ये मैंने यहाँ पे पोस्ट कर दिया, ठीक है? तो ये लिंक है, you can get it from there. जो भी एरर आ रहा है, whatever is the error, just let me know. मेरा LinkedIn या GitHub पे मैसेज कर देना. Let me just share it with you. So yeah, you can message me on my LinkedIn. This is my ID. यहाँ पे you can message if you are facing what error and everything. I'll try my best to solve it out. Okay. So let's just continue with the code now because it's seriously taking time. Okay, so we have created user provider, and now let's do what? Let's go to our age screen. Okay, and inside this age screen, we have to make sure that we are using provider. Okay, so what we will do to use provider, we will make sure that the data which we are going to use, or the data which we want, it should be stored inside the provider. Okay, so what you can do, you will go here, and inside this body, we have a very basic container. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a provider here, right? So let me just wrap this container. So let me just cut that container from there. Okay, and now what I'm gonna do, I'm going to write here as change notifier. Okay, so inside this change notifier, we have provider as well. Okay, so inside this change notifier provider, I'm gonna make sure that we have provider. So I'll call my user provider, which we have just created there. Okay, and after that user provider, I'm going to create. Okay, so inside the create, what we need the context, and this context will be having what? Our user provider. Okay, that's it. That is what we have created here. I'll just write it out like change notifier is the class that provides the instant of the t to which descendants. Okay, so let me just format it out, and inside this t provider we have given it. Now we will define a class called child. Okay, so this child will be storing a provider. So inside that I'll write consumer. Okay, so inside the consumer we have what? User provider. I'll make sure this user provider is there, and what will happen here, यहाँ पर inside this we will give a bracket, and this bracket will be having 2 to 3 things, that is builder. So builder will be having what? अपना values. So first thing that it will ask is context. Context means क्या चाहिए, तो context में तो अपना ये वाला आ गया, मतलब material app वगैरह. Okay, and after that value. So what value we are going to give it? So inside this, let me select this one. So the value will be what? The value will be our user provider. Okay, so the user provider which is there, that will be our value, and after that it's used it in small letters, and the child will be what? The child will be just a dash. Okay, that's it. And now inside this we have what? Return, and then we are just going to paste the whole code which we were having before. Okay, now what sort of error this gives right here, that we have to make sure maybe we are missing one bracket here. But it says selected. Okay, so format, and yeah, it looks good. Okay, so yeah, what we have done, we have basically created a same set of things which will be storing. You didn't get the link. Just do one thing, message me on my LinkedIn and I'll give you the link. Okay, because I don't know why. Okay, so after this stream, I'll make sure that link is available in the comments, and then you will be able to fetch that link. Okay, so just wait till the until the stream ends. Okay? So what is left? We have created the controller for our wait page, and similarly, we are going to also make sure that this is getting fetched. Okay, so we'll go to our age page, and inside this age page, you can see this. We have next button, right? So inside this next button, we also have to make sure that our data is getting stored. Okay, so what I'm gonna write user provider. This user provider is the same class that I have stored above this defined here, right? So that will be the value. So this user provider will be having set age. So set age is the function that we have written, and then what I'm gonna write int dot parse. Okay, so this is used when we want to take our integer and we have to store. So what is the levels? Levels is basically the list that I have used, or maybe it's the items. Okay, so let me call the items. Okay, this is the list that we are going to use, and this list will be having what? Our age. Okay, so this list will be having our user provider dot age font. Okay, This will be storing our data, and we'll just add a semicolon. And by this, we will be successfully able to fetch the data of our user inside our user provider right here. Okay, so inside this, we will be able to store the data. Okay, that's it from this. And same thing, what we have to do, we have to make sure to go to this is what. Okay, so same thing, we have to go to the wait page and we have to make sure that we does for it. Okay, so let me just go to our basic wait page here, and inside the wait page as well, we are going to create the same thing. Okay, so inside that, what I'll do currently, I am going to go here, and inside this, we will just basically go inside the screen and we will enter the selected weight, whatever the is the selected weight, right? That selected weight will be stored. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure that that happens here inside this list. Okay, so we will enter this, and inside this user provider, we are going to fetch our data, and that data will be stored inside our wait page. Okay, so that's it. What I'm gonna ask you guys is to do. Okay, so I hope this video was little helpful for you. I have taught you what all things we have to implement. See, it will be same as a page page. Okay, I'll just show you how exactly it's going to happen. Like for height and weight also, we will be using the same set of characters. Okay, let me just show you. Okay. So for age we have done, then we will be having for height and for goal and everything. Okay, so for goals, and you will enter string like that. Okay, so string height, then what you have goal. Okay, so you have to enter string weight, or then you have activity level, then you have the goal. Okay, similarly this will be done. Then what will be having string height, string weight, string activity level, and then string goal. Okay, so these things will be added as well into that. So just make sure that these things will be added, and then you are going to call the simple void functions here, that set height, then you have for set weight, then you have for set activity level, and it will be good to go. And then just like this activity level, we will be implementing this inside that as well. Actually, I saw all your videos about fitness app, but I didn't understand about MongoDB, that how to input and how to check data in DB. Okay, so don't worry. The main problem was the database that we have created is successfully working, and the data is also done. In this video itself, I have even showed you that how to. Let me go to database. Let me open a compass here. Our application work is done, so let me just close this app so that, yeah, now we are going to open our compass. So inside this compass, I have showed you today that what all the things you have to change in your code to able to see it. Okay, let me just once more show you fitness app backend. Okay. Yeah, inside this backend, what I did, I went to this database. Okay, and in this database, firstly, it was written localhost here. Okay, so we were having localhost written. What I have done, I have changed that localhost into this 127.0.0.1, and I have then restarted the server. And as soon as I restarted the server, we were successfully able to see here that the database has been, server is running on port this, and the database has been connected. Okay, so to inspect that whether my code was working or not, I even went there and I opened MongoDB Atlas. Okay, so Compass, actually I opened MongoDB Compass. I don't know why it's lagging a lot. Let me search for Compass here. And if you will open MongoDB Compass, you will be able to see that the data was there itself. Where is the Compass here? Compass. I don't know why this is not working. Compass. Let's just. So just make sure to see that whenever this line will be printed, connected to database, you just have to go to your database, MongoDB, and then you just have to reload the database which was showing there, right? So you will be able to see the schema is perfectly available there, and you will be even able to check it. Okay, inside that you can check that whether it's working. Actually, I don't know why, but it's not opening. Like, see, if I'll try to write compass, it's not loading. That's why I'm unable to show you. Otherwise, I will show you that for sure. Okay. So if you are getting this statement inside your command prompt that is connected to database, your database will be perfectly running, and you will be able to see the schemas as well. Okay. To make sure you gets the schema, make sure this model and everything is proper. Okay. And in this videos itself, I have made some changes into the code here, and I'll be uploading that as well. Okay. So I'll be uploading this code into the backend, and then you will be able to see it. Okay. So the file name, let me show you. The file name which I'll be uploading the today's backend will be this one, fitness backend. Okay. In this, we don't have any code right now. Okay. I have already created. I'm gonna upload the code. Just make sure to remember this name, fitness backend. In that, you will be having the code. You just open it, try to run npm, and yeah. But just make sure there's change this link from your data. Okay, you have to make sure this link is present in your MongoDB compass, which will be okay. So that's it. I hope you have understood whatever we have learned so far. We have completed the linking part, basically not completely, because this MongoDB was creating a little issues. I'll get into it and I'll be explaining why we were having these issues. Okay. We have even understood what are the providers, why providers are used. So providers are basically used to store a local data, okay, like basic data into it inside our application, so that you can fetch that data into other pages. That's why we use this provider. And we have even implemented provider in our age and basically in our weight. So I'll be saying that implement the same providers in all these remaining pages, so that you will be understanding how to use provider and how that provider helps. Okay, so make sure to do that part as well. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, where we will be making sure this error is perfectly resolved. And also I'll make sure, and I'll also make sure that this error and this linking part will be solved. And for Rajesh Shah, this is my LinkedIn. You can message me there. You can basically just search my name inside the LinkedIn, that is Amogh Saxena, and you will be able to see me. And from there, you can contact me, message me, and I'll be helping you with the doubts. Okay, so just bear with this and message me down there, and yeah, it will be good to go. So this was pretty much it for this video. I will catch you in the next one. Till then, see you. Have a great day, and bye bye.